What's going on, guys? Back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be counting down the top 10 most iconic shoes of all time. So with this list, I'm not going to be talking about the design of the shoe or how good it really looks. I'm just going to be talking about how iconic it is and how popular the shoe is as a whole. So coming in at the number 10 spot, we have the Adidas Stan Smiths. This shoe was created in 1965 and it was named after the famous American tennis player, yes, you guessed it, Stan Smith. Instead of having the three stripes on the side of the shoe like majority of the Adidas shoes at the time did have, instead they had line holes to represent the three stripes. The holes was added to give tennis players a more breathable shoe. I do like the minimalistic look that this shoe has. The green and white does go well together, and also I do like the picture of Stan Smith on the tongue of the shoe. Coming in at the number 9 spot, we have the Puma Clyde. This shoe was made in the late 60s and this was Puma's way of trying to get into the basketball industry. They made this shoe for a famous basketball player at the time called Walt Frazier. And this shoe is a very good looking shoe. I mean, it's good looking for Puma standards. Okay, cool. Moving on. At the number 8 spot, we have the Yeezy 350s. And I'm sorry for a lot of you that are, hurting right now, but I couldn't make this list without putting the Yeezy 350s on here. And these shoes was released in 2015 alongside the Kanye West Yeezy range. And the Yeezy 350s was an instant success. With its unique design and natural colorways, a lot of people gravitated towards this shoe. This shoe was so big it actually brought down the sales of Nike shoes and also Jordan shoes at the time. This shoe doesn't have too much history because obviously it only came out in 2015, but it has definitely made an impact on the sneaker game. Okay, cool. Swiftly moving on, we have the Converse Chuck Taylors. This shoe was created in 1922, fuck me, that's a long time ago, by a famous basketball player, wait for it, Chuck Taylor. And I do believe that this was one of the first shoes actually made for basketball, and also one of the first shoes to be co-signed by a basketball player, yes, even before Michael Jordan. And it's said by the 1960s, Converse has actually captured 70 to 80% of the basketball shoe market. And throughout that time, Converse has actually managed to stay relevant and sort of become just a normal everyday shoe now. Very casual, very wearable, and that was the number 7 spot. Okay, coming in at the number 6 spot, we have the Adidas Superstars. And as much as I hate this shoe, I can't deny its popularity. This shoe was created in 1969 and was originally a basketball shoe. Even on the toe box of the shoe, it's got this basketball print. I don't know what was in the water in the mid-90s, yeah, but every company wanted to make basketball shoes, I swear down. After the Adidas Superstars had a run of being a basketball shoe, they sort of made a rebranding and it became a skateboarding shoe. And apparently the Adidas Superstar rubbery toe box made it easier to do skateboard tricks in. And after some time, the Adidas Superstars gave birth to the first music artist collaboration by collaborating with the rap group Run DMC. But yeah, the Adidas Superstars always going in and out of fashion and stood the test of time. So yeah, that was the number 6 spot. Okay, cool. Moving on to the number 5 spot, we have the Timberlands. Timberland boots was created in 1973, made famous by the two New York legends, Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z. This shoe is so New York, it's not even funny. I guarantee if you searched up New York in the English dictionary, this shoe would come up. But on the real though, when it comes to timeless classic, Timberlands are definitely up there. This shoe was created for outdoor activities such as hiking. Finally, a shoe that isn't related back to basketball. And real talk, yeah, I didn't know how big Timberlands were until I was like 12. I remember my mum got me a pair and I didn't wear them for a good like year or so because I thought that they were just construction boots and all of my friends would like laugh at me. But as soon as I stepped out in the Timbs, yeah, all of the older kids were like praising me like, yo, you got the Timbs on? I was like, yeah, I got Timbs on. Didn't even know what Timberlands was, but you know, I was loving it. But yeah, Timberland's such a goated shoe, very durable, yeah, and just all round just a certain shoe. But yeah, that was the number 5 spot. Okay, cool. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have is Vans. And I call the Vans an all-purpose shoe because any environment, any occasion, Vans are just a certain shoe to have. And I believe the Vans was released in the mid-70s and their main purpose was to be a skateboarding shoe. With its big rubbery sole, it was very durable and sort of the perfect shoe for skateboarders. Vans are just one of them shoes. I don't think it will ever die in fashion, just very clean, very simple, but it still looks good with most outfits. Okay, moving on. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have the Air Max 90s. Created in 1987, these shoes were sort of looked at as a futuristic type of shoe, because this shoe gave birth to the infamous Nike Air Bubble. And back in the day, the people was right about this shoe being futuristic because the whole about 20 to 30 years later, this shoe is still worn today. And this shoe is just so iconic that it's actually given birth to a lot of other variations. Variations such as the Air Max 95s and also the 97s. And Air Max has sort of become its own line underneath Nike now. But before we get into the number 2 spot, I did want to do a couple of honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1 is the SB Dunks. I really do like this shoe. I don't know why I didn't put it on the list, but let's say the SB Dunks is at the number 11 spot. Honorable mention number 2 is the Adidas NMDs, and I'm a very big fan of this shoe. I have so many pairs, but the sort of lifetime that this shoe had was only about 4 years, and I don't really see it making a return, so it's not really that iconic, but I did want to give it a little bit of a mention. Honorable mention number 3 is the Adidas Gazelles. I do like this shoe, but in terms of being iconic, I would say it's only really iconic in the UK and probably parts of Europe. The American alternative to the Gazelles are the Sambas. They absolutely love off the Sambas, but they've probably never heard of the Gazelles. But the last honorable mention we have is the Jordan 4s. I did want to put these at the number 10 spot, but I thought I might just have recency bias, because let's say 2015, no one was really rocking the Jordan 4s or even talking about them like that, and they ain't really got that much history to it in terms of, you know, other shoes on this list. So yeah, that is the reason why I put it in the honorable mentions. But anyway, coming in at the number 2 spot, we have the Jordan 1s. The Jordan 1 shoe was created in 1985, and yes, you guessed it, it was for Michael Jordan. And guess what shoe it was? Yes, a basketball shoe. Fun fact, in the first year of the Jordan 1s, Nike actually only expected to sell 100,000 units, but they actually ended up selling 1.5 units in the first 6 weeks of the shoe's release. That is just crazy on so many levels. And this shoe is just so iconic, it's actually become a collector's item. I'm not even joking, people would have whole wardrobes, whole rooms dedicated to Jordan 1s. And this shoe has stayed in fashion for a number of decades, and it's not like it's bobbed in and out of fashion, it's just stayed solid throughout. Just such a powerhouse of a shoe. Just a quick one, if you do like clothes, make sure you check out my online store, section 17. I don't want to gas up myself too much here, but some of the pieces are actually fire. My favourite one is probably the headshot tee. I took inspiration out of that from Call of Duty. You know, whenever you used to get a headshot and then that logo used to pop up, yeah, I put that on the side of a t-shirt. I think that looked flames, I can't lie. And also the Henry VIII tee goes really hard. Obviously it's just a picture of Henry VIII, and then over the eyes it's got a phrase. You lot can read it, I'm not going to say it, but yeah, I think that tee's hard. And I've got many more designs, so if you are interested, click the link down in my description, and without further ado, let's get back into this. But anyway, for the moment you've all been waiting for, coming in at the number 1 spot, and yes, you've probably already guessed it, the Air Force 1s. The Nike Air Force 1s was created in 1982, and now the question is it a basketball shoe or is it just a normal shoe? Of course it's a basketball shoe, but throughout history there hasn't been a shoe to top the Air Force 1s. This shoe is just so iconic, so much so that other brands are actually copying it. You've got shoes like the Bapesters just straight up copying Nike. You've got also the Off-White shoes that are sort of, you know, copying Nike. Not overly, but, you know, a little bit. Even Nike is copying Nike at this point. You know, you've got the Jordan 1 lows that are just a straight up copy of the SB Dunks. And then you've got the SB Dunks that are just straight up copy of the Air Force 1s. But you know a shoe is just goated when it's got a song named after it. But yeah, Air Force 1, a timeless classic. I don't think that shoe will ever be beat in terms of iconicness or popularity. But make sure you tell me what you think about the list down in the comment section below. This video was a part of the playlist, and if you did like the video you just watched, I know for a fact you're going to like the rest of the videos on the playlist.